Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it may be. I wanted to actually greet everyone a happy new year and start talking about some stuff that people talk about in the beginning of the year. In that case is weight loss, new goals, strength goals, whatnot. But I read a really good article, two-part article series by Dr. Layne Norton. Fat Loss for Powerlifting articles 1 and 2. You may have read them. They're really short, and there'll be links in the descriptions if you haven't read them yet. And one thing I kind of wanted to kind of delve into that was very interesting to me was modality and what the optimum choice of cardio you should do for maintaining strength. And then of course talking about fat loss and how all these tie in together. One of the things to consider is that when it comes to any sport, the one thing that's really important is specificity. And the truth is, for optimum strength gains, you want, especially specifically for powerlifting, you want to eliminate cardio. You don't want to do any cardio. That's basically what it is. So if you do any cardio, it's going to affect your strength in some form or matter, no matter how you look at it. Now keep in mind, I'm talking to a population that works out. To a population that doesn't work out, this doesn't necessarily apply to you. But if you're training regularly, understand that cardio is going to negatively impact your strength gains, especially if you're trying to lose weight. But the one thing I kind of wanted to touch on that he mentions in the article, which made a lot of sense to me, and this is kind of how I approach a lot of my training, is specificity. And he goes a little bit into the science, biomechanics stuff. That's sort of interesting. And that's like treadmill or running, walking or running will negatively impact strength more than the step mill or the bike. He cites some studies. I think there's a bibliography in case you're into that stuff. He says best case is no cardio, but what's the least worst choice? And what I have available in my gym and kind of what I've been able to use, the two things that I can do that I haven't done in a while, which are effective for cardiovascular work, is simply doing like sled pushes and kettlebell swings. I see a lot of carryover in those movements or those types of movement where you're pushing yourself. You're going to burn a lot of calories, but you're also going to challenge your system. And the thing that's and the one thing that's related that he talks about, that Layne talks about in the article, is about the difference of like the bike versus the treadmill. Why the bike won't affect strength as much as the treadmill will for walking, simply because you're able to focus on you have more hip flexion. And it's a far analogy, but understand that the bike is more similar to what you do in powerlifting than what walking is, simply because of more hip flexion. The squat and the deadlift there's a lot of hip flexion and extension. The other thing too also is kind of like, I guess where I was going to go with this is that you're trying to lose weight, so you got to burn some calories, but that's the cardio part. So understanding that that's a big factor. But then now comes the weight loss part. Now, the more dramatic part, which is a diet. And this last part of the video, I just wanted to talk about kind of like what diet we're on and kind of what I've started with to start to slowly cut weight. And that diet is just a standard low carb diet, trying to stay roughly under 100 grams a day. Trying to stay on the kind of following sort of a loose carb backloading style diet. I have some videos on my channel in case you're not familiar with it. It's just kind of a way to improve nutrient partitioning, improve fat loss. Whether you believe in it or not, I don't even know if I believe in it, but I do as far as like what it actually does when it comes to the science behind it. It could be negligible when it comes to carb backloading when you're partitioning nutrition, but what I actually find is that it just helps me eat less calories. So, I mean, because that way if I have one meal where I can have carbs, I'm going to end up just eating less. I mean, I can only eat so much carbs. The one diet that my wife is eating is the Carbonite Diet, and that one is really effective, especially if you don't train too often or don't have very high demand training schedule or work schedule. As far as physical activity is concerned, is that it's just an ultra low carb diet where you stay at 30 grams net carbs. And that net carb simply means that fiber gets subtracted. So, if you have 50 grams of carbs, but then 20 grams of fiber, your net carbs is 30 grams. And what you do is you do this for basically for 9 days. And then on the 10th day, you have the evening to basically eat as much as you want, carb up. And then you cycle this every 3 to 4 days. So then after that first 10-day period, every 3 or 4 days, every I think 4th or 5th day, you can have a carb night. And there'll be links in the description if you're interested in that, or some videos I made. Also the link to the ebook, which I don't think most people need if you have any experience with dieting. But you never know if you want to learn more stuff. But my point of mentioning this is that when you're trying to diet, my thing is that dieting is really just a form of organized eating. So if you like macros and counting macros, or you like preparing your meals, bodybuilding style diet with 6 meals a day, 5 meals a day, or if you like something like where you eat like ultra low carb, like what my wife is, or you just kind of follow somewhere in between what ultra low carb, or what low carb would be, and what macros are. You're just trying to find a way to consistently follow something that allows you to eat less calories. I think one thing you get caught up when, depending on kind of where you are in your fitness journey, strength journey, weight loss, muscle gain journey, is that sometimes you can nerd out on all this nutrition stuff, and a lot of the time you just get really into it. Like, oh my God, I've eaten too many carbs. I've went over my. And the truth about it is that if you're obsessed about it, you're going to stick to it. I mean, that's sort of like how it works. Why do you think why am I getting stronger? Why am I making consistent gains? Because I'm obsessed with it to a certain degree, and it allows me to train hard and not miss training schedule. I'm not always 100% on point, but I'm getting stronger, and that's what matters to me. And same thing with weight loss. Sometimes if you follow something that's sort of loose, like a loose diet, or kind of a very, very kind of like macro counting diet, that might not work for you from a behavior standpoint, simply because it's just not strict enough. You need something that allows you to kind of stay inside a fence. But then again, it depends on who you are. And kind of what I wanted to kind of end with on this video is just talking about like how you're going to be able to maintain strength. And the way you're going to be able to maintain strength is simply not losing weight too fast. I mean, if you're training super hard, there's going to be a point where your calorie deficit is going to catch up with you. Everyone is in a different situation. Like if you're peaking for powerlifting, yeah, there's definitely going to be some implications. But if you're just like, say, in a strength building accumulation phase, I don't think it'll hamper as much, because you're doing a lot of rep work and you're not really tapping into the CNS, trying to like do a very heavy singles and doubles, and and doing a lot of just heavy work, like 85-90%, lots of that stuff every single week. But anyways, those are just some thoughts. I'm going to make a series of videos like this. Not whispering. I'm only whispering because the baby is asleep and my wife's asleep. So I wanted to put this video out to get it out on time. And hopefully you can follow along in my journey with this fat loss, trying to actually compete at 198 was going to be my weight class, but I think in the next 6 months I want to be able to be around 192, 195. Maybe I'll compete in 181 maybe sometime, but I'm not like gonna rush there. I don't want to dump all the strength I've gained over the course of months just because I want to drop a weight class. I'm just gonna slowly lose the weight and just make it so that when I can walk into a powerlifting meet, and that's kind of what my goal is, because my next powerlifting meet is going to be probably in May or June of this year, this year, 2015. Anyways, signing off. This is Ryan. List your goals below. Leave a comment below what your goals are for the year. Maybe 1, 2, or 3 things that you want to accomplish. And then maybe a year from now, I'll follow up and comment back again. So join in the journey. These next 30 days, I'll probably post a video on some topic like this. Thumbs down if you don't want that, and I'll just put it on a different channel, or I just will change what I do. I got some training videos coming up too. Thumbs up if you want more of these videos. Comment below if you want a specific topic, and I'll see you guys on the next video.